Hi, my name is Henry Russell, and I'm doing this video today to try to dispel some of the misconceptions out there about loan modification companies and how the process works and who qualifies, and basically just trying to give you some information so that you can make an educated decision before you either contact a modification company or you contact your bank on your own. The first misconception that I'm going to talk about is you don't have to be behind on your mortgage to qualify for a loan modification. Modification now basically has become the new refinance. Most people can't refinance because they're upside down or underwater, meaning they owe more for their house than what their house is worth. Because of that, you can't qualify for a traditional refinance. What you'll have to do is qualify for a modification, meaning we will modify your existing terms to get you a better interest rate, maybe take you from an adjustable to a fixed term, or just extend you out to a 30-year if you're on some type of 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, or 10-year program. So the first and foremost thing that I want to dispel is that you do not have to be behind on your mortgage to qualify for a loan modification. The next thing is that if you just lost your job and you are accepting or receiving unemployment, you still have the option of doing a modification. Generally, because it takes somewhere between 90 to 120 days, even sometimes up to 180 days, which I know is 6 months, to receive a modification right now, just due to the banks and the amount of loans that they're receiving on a daily basis. I mean, Bank of America is receiving something like 50,000 a week, and Chase is receiving like 44,000 a week. So you've got to understand that these banks were not ready for this. So they're trying to catch up. They're trying to get people caught up as far as getting them trained and in departments. So it is something that takes a little bit of time. But the big thing here is that I want you to understand that you don't have to have a job to qualify for a loan modification, because once we submit you, and if you're accepting or receiving unemployment, we can utilize that income, and then when you start working, we can update the financials to show that you are receiving new income. The next thing I want to talk about is FHA mortgages. FHA mortgages are available to be modified. This is something that came down through the system back in, I believe, November or December of last year. We do have the ability to modify FHA mortgages at this time. The one thing about FHA mortgages is that they do not qualify usually for the MHA program with some lenders. However, they do qualify for the HEMP program, which I'll kind of get into a little bit more detail about that in just a minute. Second mortgages. Second mortgages do qualify for loan modifications. However, the second mortgage cannot be modified until the first mortgage is complete. So if it takes you 120 days to get the first one done, it's going to take another 120 days to get the second one done. So just kind of have that in your mind, and know that this process for you on the first mortgage and second mortgage is going to be a little bit longer than just having the first. The last thing I want to talk about on what some common misconceptions are is that we can now do loan amounts up to $729,000. So if you owe $500,000 or $600,000 or $700,000, yes, you do qualify for a loan modification. You can qualify for the MHA program under the government guidelines stating that it will accept modification files up to $729,000. So yes, if you have a mortgage over $700,000, I'm sorry, or under $729,000, you do qualify for loan modification. Okay, let's talk about the 3 programs that are out there. Right now we have the HEMP program, the MHA program, and most lenders have their own internal program. I'm going to talk about the MHA program and the internal program. The HEMP program really is a program that is just kind of there to help people. It does not go into as much detail as far as paperwork. It also does not knock your payment down as much. It doesn't knock your interest rate down as much. So we really try to stay away from the HEMP program only because it doesn't benefit the homeowner with the most amount of savings. The MHA program, which stands for Making Home Affordable, now this program has been rolled out for a very long time. As a matter of fact, it was rolled out last year, and this program was supposed to help at least 4 million people. Unfortunately, it has not helped more than about 35,000 people. So unfortunately, right now, what is going on is that the government is mandating that the lenders use this program, and lenders are basically dragging their feet. So this is why it is important that you use a modification company, because it's important that someone stays on top of it. It is important that someone knows the guidelines for that program, and it's important that when we're negotiating the MHA program that you receive all of the things that you are supposed to receive under the guidelines of the MHA program. The last program is an internal program, and that internal program is for each specific lender. Depending on who you're with, whether it's Bank of America or WAMU or Chase, Countrywide, which is no longer Countrywide, obviously, Bank of America bought them, GMAC Mortgage, any one of those lenders, they have their own internal program. And basically, those programs usually follow pretty closely with the MHA program, which again is why we basically are always submitting you for the MHA program and their internal program. The last things that I want to talk about today are some common mistakes that homeowners make when they try to submit their own loan. Submitting your own modification is a very risky thing, and I'll tell you why. Because the bank is not here to help you. The bank is not here to help you take more money out of their pocket. If you think about that, you are asking the bank basically to reduce your payment, and you're asking the person that lent you the money to reduce it. Okay? This is why you need a third party. You need someone that's going to get in there and fight for you for the modification to go through as smoothly as possible. So let's talk about a few of the things that most homeowners have done that, you know, it's one thing that makes it very detrimental for you to get this modification. Number one, in the hardship letter, a lot of homeowners believe that the worse their story is, or the more sorry or pathetic their story is, the easier it will be for them to get a modification. Not true. What will happen is that if the bank believes that you are so far gone on your expenses as far as your income versus your expenses, they're never going to do a modification for you. If you're showing that you're 900 negative every single month, well, if they reduce your payment by 300, well, guess what? You're still 600 negative. So that doesn't help your case. That doesn't make your case. But a lot of homeowners will submit their file under the impression that if they do that, that will help them. The other thing is that the second thing is that modifications need to be worked on basically every 7 business days. If you are not calling the lender, if you are not talking to your negotiator, if you are not making sure they receive the faxes, if you are not on top of your file every single 7 business days, you're basically wasting your time. It's just like they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and that is what happens. That's the difference between using a modification company and doing it on your own. Now, if you have the time to be able to call on your own, then definitely you should submit it, but there are a couple of more rules that you should listen to before you start that process. The next thing is knowing the difference between a loan modification and a forbearance. Most lenders, if they know you are trying to do it on your own, will give you a forbearance. What is a forbearance? A forbearance is a temporary plan to get you either caught up or to just pacify you until you feel like, okay, yeah, this is a great deal. The problem with the forbearance is that 6 months later, guess what? You're in the same situation you were when you started. That's why a loan modification is truly what most homeowners need. You need a permanent fix to your problem. If you do not receive anything over 5 years as far as a modification, what you have received is what we consider a forbearance agreement. This information is available to everyone. We offer free consultations here at our office. I'm going to give you our telephone number, which is 888-397-7354. Again, that number is 888-397-7354. You can visit us online at www.homebailoutus.com. Again, that's homebailoutus.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again.